Welcome to Game Day Battle, Recruiting Sports News meets biased and outspoken opinion. We have a little bit of a smaller Game Day crew here tonight. Dale is very sick, the flu. In fact, those who may know him or be a member of his Facebook page have seen a picture of him and his daughter, super sick, sad little sight, and both stayed home from work today.
I cried.
So, sad.
I didn't.
But so Dale, hope you get better. I know this flu is really tough. I haven't had it yet, but I've known a few people that have, and it's just killing people.
It was horrible.
Anyway, Super Bowl. It has been set. The Patriots were unable to cheat their way back into the Super Bowl, and thank God for that. We've got an enormous show, mostly around the Super Bowl. Of course, some Browns action as well, and we've got to always hit our Brownies. So, two outstanding defenses. San Francisco, Baltimore. Baltimore has Ray Lewis, possibly his last game, most likely his last game. They're playing for a lot. They've got a lot to sort of prove, I guess, as they've always been. They've been touted for their defense, and they've been beat up on for their offense. Their offense actually came through quite well this year, so that is something interesting to really look at here. But I think the biggest and most fun question of this whole Super Bowl is Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis is going to retire. He's going to go into the Hall of Fame whether you like it or not. Yes, he did get involved in some way in some murder and paid people off to drop the charges or some crap like that. All of that aside, is he the greatest defensive player to play the game in our lifetime, like in the last 30 years? Maybe ever? Or does he not even belong in that list? So we're going to hit that. I think that's the most fun question. And really, if he's not the best player, who is? Who's the best defensive player? And this is fun because everybody talks about offense a lot, the big quarterbacks. But to actually go through a list of defensive players that may or may not be the best, I think that's pretty fun. And we're going to do that.
Game Day Battle is brought to you by Bamboozle's Restaurant and Lounge in Parma. They have the best drink specials anywhere. Seriously, buy one, get one free drinks. How often do you hear of it? You don't. They do it twice a week. Billy's mom makes the pasta sauce all the time, and the burgers, you simply won't find a better one. Check them out, bamboozles.com. Again, bamboozles.com. When you go there, tell them GDB sent you.
All right, so the Super Bowl is set, as I said earlier, and the Patriots were not able to cheat their way in. We have San Francisco, we have Baltimore, two defenses, two strong, solid defenses, teams that were really propelled by their defense. Now, there's a debate maybe with Baltimore because Joe Flacco has come about this year as a force. He's been more talk than he has been production in the past. He's been very erratic in the past, but he has been at least somebody you can depend on this year, and he's had some very big games against some decent defenses, in some cases some really good defenses. It's a much more interesting Super Bowl, I think, than we've had in a long time. I think that's neat, but I think the biggest question really, outside of all the numbers and the defenses and the other storylines with, this rookie quarterback and whatever, Ray Lewis. I think there's no debate that he's probably one of the best players in the game today. I think we can all agree on that, right? One of the best players in the game today?
Yes. Yeah.
Probably. Okay.
Yeah, he is.
But the biggest question is, the guy's going to retire, and we know how his career started. First off, it started in an orange and brown uniform, and I think...
Right.
Yeah, I think Dale doesn't Dale have the actual...
Rookie card?
Card, yeah. So he was a Brown, but then after that he went to Baltimore and he got involved in some sort of a murder thing, and I'm not going to go into the details now, but in the end it looks like he had something probably to do with it because there was some money that had exchanged hands to get the people that were pushing for this to stop and blah, 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 whatever. That's how his career started out, and since then he became a very, very solid defensive player. And let's just look at his career. So he's been in the league 15 years. Basically all of it with the Baltimore Ravens, Browns, and then Ravens. He was selected 11 times to the Pro Bowl, and he received All-Pro honors 9 separate occasions. He was named NFL Defensive Player of the Year in 2000 and 2003. And if you guys remember, back in 2000, that's the year the Ravens went to and won the Super Bowl. And he led what was a terrifying defense that just pounded people. It was maybe one of the most impressive defenses that we've seen, at least in the last 15 to 20 years. He got the Super Bowl MVP that year. That's an amazing career in the NFL. It's 15 years, and guys, what is it? Not for long league. 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, maybe defensive player might get 7 or 8 years. 15 years of solid production, and being noted as the best player on one of the best defenses almost every year. So that's the question then. Is he the best player, the best defensive player to ever play the game in the NFL? Or maybe even just in our lifetime in the last 30 years? But let's just look at the guys that we can probably all remember playing in some way. And let's see how Ray Lewis stacks up against these guys. Okay, so yeah, I threw this in there a little bit for Dale, who isn't here tonight, but New York Giants defensive end Michael Strahan, and not just for Dale. I mean, the guy was fifth. He's currently fifth all time in sacks. He has the NFL's single season record with 22 and a half sacks, and that's 2001. He was named NFL Defensive Player of the Year in 2001. And as soon as he's eligible, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. So, would you pick that guy over Ray Lewis? Would you give him the honors of top defensive player over Ray Lewis?
I don't think so.
You hesitate a little bit, though.
I want
a little bit of respect.
Yeah, because he's been there. He's been to Super Bowl, played on a great defense in the Giants. Even though I want to that last sack he got there, versus I think it was on Brett Favre. Fell down. Yeah, okay, give it to me. But other than that, I would give it. He's somewhere up there, but I don't think he's that guy that.
You know who feared him? Quarterbacks.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think he's that literally stop that run, stop that that interception guy. Like Ray Lewis is like that round guy. Like you got to watch out for him. He's sacking you, catching, intercepting you,
right.
Shutting down your running back. So you don't know where he's coming from, but he's gonna shut you down some way somehow.
And that's a good point, because he doesn't have the Pro Bowls and All Pro honors that aren't a big deal because they're kind of political, but they do represent how people view or how they fear a player. And he doesn't have those. And we can all, and I know it's cheesy, the last sack to get the record. I understand that, but there were a lot prior to that.
You come in right into the game, and all of a sudden.
Well, speaking of fast, Ramon, Neon Deion Sanders, 14-year quarterback, prime time was his name.
My boy.
He's one of the fastest players statistically to ever play in the NFL. 52 interceptions, 8 Pro Bowls, and 8 All-Pro honors. 1994, he was the NFL Defensive Player of the Year, and that's all awesome. He was dangerous as hell on returning kicks. He played some wide receiver as well, and he scored 22 touchdowns, 9 on interceptions, and 6 on punt returns, 3 on kickoff returns, 3 receiving, and then 1 fumble recovery. That's about as well-rounded a player as you ever can get. Oh, by the way, he played baseball too. It's an incredible athlete. Would you put him somewhere above Ray Lewis, all-time, or at least last 30 years defensive player?
Yeah, Ron, would you?
I don't know, man.
That's a tough one.
Prime time itself is it's a whole different category. Prime time was known for flashiness, but he had that swag that you ain't gonna throw that way, because you don't want to have prime time interception. You running it back. He instilled fear on wide receivers.
Yeah. Quarterbacks grabbing that ball from them. Yeah.
But not as a defense in whole.
All right. So you're saying that maybe as a player in general.
As a player in general, I'm giving it to Deion, but instilling fear on defenses, maybe on that side of the field only.
All right. So still, but does he belong in the top 10 defensive?
Oh, Neon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's right there. That's all you want to model your game by. You watch.
Nobody's going to model their game by. No, there's never going to be a Neon Deion Sanders.
When you
ever.
know you're that good, there's
Yeah.
there's no comparison.
And then in your downtime, you go play baseball and play it
Yeah.
decently. It's pretty impressive.
But shout out to Bo Jackson who started that though.
Well, that's true. That's true. I don't think Bo. And not
Bo
taking it
knows,
for Bo.
you know?
Bo knows, but I don't think Bo did.
He
I don't
does
think
know.
Bo performed or Bo was Deion Sanders. He may. I know he did both sports, but he wasn't what Deion was in both sports.
See, I think a lot of people get caught up in primetime the character.
Mm-hmm.
They forget that he was a good player.
You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, the baseball player or the the flashy football player. They got hooked on his persona.
Mm-hmm.
Dude had some style.
You know, big gold
He
chains on. You know, the Jerry
But
curls.
classy.
Yeah.
though. No, he was all class,
Yeah,
man. He
I
had those beautiful suits, man. The ties. Oh
But
yeah.
that's how, you know, if you want to set yourself apart and make a name for yourself.
No, yeah. All right, so we are bringing back, by popular demand, the 2-minute drill, and this is something we had a lot of fun with before, and actually got some good feedback. So this is where we're just going to throw out the quick topics all around the world of sports. We have 2 minutes to go through all of this, and that means no banter,
I promise. I
no
won't
crap.
fuck it up this time.
Give us the
Yeah.
goods right off the bat. So
talk about
that
baseball.
rhymes actually. Nobody listened to me. But anyway, so
It was
never do.
great. It was great, Mike.
it was great.
We never do.
What did he say?
Nobody listens to me anyway. All right, Brett's holding our big timer here. You're gonna get a timer up here. It's gonna show up here. Brett, start that timer. Got it?
Yep.
We're going. All right, the 49ers are the only franchise with more than one Super Bowl appearance that remains undefeated, in the Super Bowl. If they win this, they'll tie the Steelers with 6 rings. Does this alone make you a Colin Kaepernick fan? And do you want them to win, or do you even care about somebody finally catching up to the Steelers? Ramon.
No, it is not. I think they suck, and I think the Ravens are going to dominate this game and shut them down, and this whole hoorah about the San Francisco 49ers will be done.
Brett?
You kind of skipped that whole question, but I don't think it's going to be based on Colin Kaepernick. I think it's going to be based on the whole team. It'll be great. It's a great feature. It'll be 6 with the Steelers, but a lot of people won't be like, what? They were? So nobody really cares.
Well, I feel like it's a game I can't lose because if the Ravens win, I'd like to see Lewis go out like that. I have a lot of respect for him. But if San Fran wins and they catch up to Steelers, they get to say, ha-ha, to my buddy who's a big Steelers fan. You ain't the only one with, he says, one for the thumb. That's what he always says, one for the thumb. Now he wants one for the forefinger. Yeah, I know. All right, so Tiger Woods. His wife is back. Perhaps his game is back as he has a big win in a place that he has played well before. Ramon, quick, is he back?
He is back, and I'm happy to see it. I said it as soon as he got back with his wife. Everything's back to normal. Hey, that's all he wanted to be with his kids and wife, and now he's going to win the game.
He's back, absolutely.
All right, both Harbaughs make questionable decisions with Alex Smith and firing an offensive coordinator. Good or bad?
Genius. They're both in the Super Bowl.
I agree. Genius.
And you know what? I think that they both made colossally impulsive decisions. I think they may pay off, they may not pay off, and whoever loses the Super Bowl is going to be ridiculed for their decision. And we're out of time. Right there. We nailed it.
Sorry about the Tiger Woods winning the games. I mean, his tournaments. You know,
We nailed
the
that.
time you say with everything.
Speaking of big guys, very big guys, and forget what you know about them nowadays, but 12-year defensive end Mike Singletary, Chicago Bears, 9-time All-Pro Bowl, 10-time Pro Bowler, Defensive Player of the Year in 85 and 88. He was put in the Hall of Fame in 1998. He was part of the Bears. He was part of the Jim McMahon, Refrigerator Perry. I mean, it was that era. Walter Payton was on that team too, I think.
Super Bowl shuffle.
Yeah, the Super Bowl shovel, yes. An amazing period in I think the NFL.
Amazing video.
And amazing in that it was historic and it was very cool.
I watch it every morning before work.
Yeah, I bet you do. So Singletary didn't have as great an after player career, but let's look at him as a player. Would you put him above Ray Lewis at this point as a defensive player, not overall player, but as a defensive player, and does he belong in the top 10?
I think so. And the reason why I'm going to say this is because I think the Ravens are modeled after that Bears defense.
Everybody wants to be modeled after that Bears defense.
That defense, you talk about instilling fear in people.
I was just gonna say same thing.
They wrote the book to how to instill fear in offenses.
What was it? The 46 zone? Was that what it was?
You know, and that right there speaks beyond anything that the Ravens are going to put on, because they set that bar so high, and now everybody's trying to reach there. That's why I think Singletary's above Ray Lewis. Maybe not statistic-wise. Well, maybe they know the two defensive player of the years, the Pro Bowls are all there, but no Super
no
Super
MVP
Bowl.
of the Super
Yeah, no
Bowl.
MVP of the
He's an
Super Bowl.
offensive lineman. That's
Yeah.
really hard
But-
defensive lineman.
I'll put him up there past him because he wrote the book, or that defense wrote the book, and
All
how to
right.
play football.
So step up, you too?
I would totally agree with that. I think Ray Lewis and Michael Singh. I mean, you can say Ray Lewis is kind of like Mike, but to that point. But I think I agree with him. Is that Bears defense wrote the book for, or set that bar? If
Yeah.
anything, if you want to be a great defense, you have to get to where that Bears defense was back then, and it's just really tough. And I think I can't see Ray Lewis above that at all. I can't see the Ravens defense. I mean, they're right there. It's modeled after it, and you can see the fear is there. But that was before any of these rules were in play. I mean, we have nowadays, and that's just, and they are still going after blood. And it didn't matter how they got it.
He was brutal. He was brutal.
It was.
But
You felt that hit for like 3 days, 3 weeks.
but
Right.
to the Ravens' defense, you know, we are playing with faster players, and the game is a lot faster.
Touchy rules.
Right, and it's dominating in your time. And I know a different player can dominate at one time, maybe not dominate another time.
Yeah.
Another time. But it's being that guy for the time that you're in, and
Yep.
for the team, the way that they're set up, and being able to perform at a high level. And Singletary definitely did that. And here's the one reason why I'm a little partial to pretty much every defensive player on that team. Who at this point, who runs the 4-6 defense? Nobody in the NFL that I know of. You know who tried? Every single team in the NFL after they developed it and perfected it and won the Super Bowl. And the reason they can is because it takes an amazing set of NFL all-pro caliber defensive players, and you've got to have one amazing line to run that fucked up of a defense. And if you've got that kind of a line, realistically, you can probably do a lot of stuff. And he was on that line. He was part of it, and I think that it's something we'll probably never see, that sort of dominance again, at least without cheating. I mean, we've seen the Patriots and we've seen the Saints and we've seen a lot of cheating. Without cheating, just pure, raw, physical talent, we're not going to see a team like that again.
And to put those players together, you need a salary cap out of this world, probably.
That's true.
Yeah, now.
And that coach,
Yeah.
Coach Dicka.
Yep.
I mean,
you
that's
would
great.
That
For
makes
you to
a
put those-
baker's dozen, Bob.
That caliber of players together like that ever again, either you'd have to have like the Fat Five and like draft them all at once, you know, or you know. But
Yeah, we're never going to see something like that again.
Oh, and then I've always been a big Jim McMahon fan. The whole the outrageous, and then he was wearing like Taco Bell or whatever the hell was on there for a while, so I got busted for that. But love that. I love that time. I love that year. I love those few years that they were real competitive.
because they played a different type of ball.
They ran over you.
Where more of the 49ers in those times were on the other side of the ball. They were more offensively.
They're finesse teams, yeah.
They took the whole
But they're
game and
still there.
switched it. Now this is going to be defense, and we're going to shut you down from scoring.
Yep. we've talked a lot about like stats and what people have like accomplished and defensive players, maybe the records they hold or whatever. Rod Woodson from the hated Steelers, but hear me out. 11-time Pro Bowler, 8-time All-Pro. 1993 was named the NFL Defensive Player of the Year. He was elected to the Pro Bowl or the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2009. 71 interceptions. That's third in history of all NFL. He's the all-time leader in interception return yards. He has 10 interceptions returned for touchdowns, which is an NFL record. 32 fumble recoveries, which is a record that still stands. And he was a prolific punt and kickoff returner. And he has taken 4 of those back for 7 points apiece. Or 6 points apiece. So that's a guy we love to hate because he was on the wrong team. But my God, how do you argue against those stats? I mean, that's not even like, some Pro Bowls and all pros or whatever. He has records that are still standing. That's an amazing player. Brett, do you put him above Ray Lewis? Below Ray Lewis?
That was a time when the Steelers defense was fearsome too. I mean, that was a good defense. I would say those years
that's a legendary defense.
Yeah, it was a very legendary. So I think they're actually in the same boat. I think they're pretty much even. Really, I can't put one above the other. Like that. But I mean, you just went over all the stats that Rod Woodson had. I mean, you cannot argue with that whatsoever. He's still only holding a run record. I mean. They're both. I can't put one or the other. I think they're both equal.
So you put them maybe both at whatever rank they fall to, both about the same.
Yep.
Okay, I'm not even going to ask if you think he should be in the top 10 because he should be in the top 10. But above Ray Lewis?
I'm gonna say he's gonna be above Ray Lewis. This guy played at one of the highest levels, and with some of the best players in the game. And Rod Woodson that name rings bells in the NFL, and his numbers speak for himself.
And they do.
This guy is that guy. You want to wrap around a defense around one person, you're bringing Rod Woodson.
And you put him above Ray Lewis or same?
I put him above Ray Lewis. The guy got numbers past Neon. So if Dion was right there, I'm going with Rod Woodson over Ray.
All right.
That's the first guy I put over Ray. So.
Actually, second guy, Singletary.
Oh, yeah.
I think we all put Singletary up. So at this point, Singletary above Ray. Rod Woodson, I agree with Brett. I'd probably put him on the same level. On the defense. But Ronnie Lott, 10-time Pro Bowler. He was a first-team All-Pro 8 times, and he was inducted to the Football Hall of Fame in 2000. He led the 49ers defense to 4 Super Bowl victories. Now, I know he didn't lead the San Francisco 49ers to 4 Super Bowls, but he led that defense at least. And Montana was great, and then eventually Young, I think, was the second time. But that defense was solid, and that's what made that team able to dominate the way that they did. That was maybe the greatest dynasty in all of football, in my view. He also, I just found this story, and I thought it was really interesting, and he once cut off the tip of his broken finger just so he continued play the game without missing the game and missing any time in the field. He had a broken finger and had to cut the tip off of it somehow to get back out there. That's fucked in the head.
What does that do?
I don't know.
Get you back in the game.
I couldn't find more information, but I found this at 2 different sources that were respectable, and I thought there's some truth to it. So however it happened that they let him go back on the field by cutting the tip of his finger.
So just get rid of
Would you do it?
Pressure?
I don't know.
Again, it's a different era of football.
And maybe he was swelling up. Yeah, he was just letting the blood out of
for
it.
the love of the game then.
And he didn't care. It was get out on the field. Would Ray Lewis do that? I doubt it. Would any player nowadays do it?
I still think Ray do it. You see him out there with that big brace on. He's still out there.
That's true.
Trent Richardson out there with broken ribs. These guys are still out there playing. True guys who love this game. and not worrying about that. Obviously, worrying about a paycheck, you got to support your family, but true love of the game is out.
Ray Lewis was just more. It's just he's on an all-around good team.
All right. Well, what about this guy? He's a defensive lineman again, but a 15-year defensive lineman. Reggie White. He's credited with 198 sacks. Second all-time in the league. It's huge. Twice he was named NFL Defensive Player of the Year. He earned Pro Bowl and All-Pro honors 13 out of his 15 NFL seasons. And he is in the Hall of Fame. Reggie White, Brett, above, below?
I think Reggie White is below Ray Lewis.
Do you think he belongs in the top 10? I mean, okay.
If not top 10, top 15.
All right, and I'll give you that. I think he was one of the questionable guys that I had to make a top 10 list.
Yeah.
But still worthy of mention.
Oh, absolutely.
And potentially in the top 10.
You know, the time he spent with Green Bay is just with Favre too, and the retirement and all that. It was he's a great player. He's great. I just can't see him being above Ray Lewis. The 198.5 sacks is amazing, but I can't really see him being. He really wasn't that feared. I mean, he was a great defensive lineman, but Reggie White did become more of a household name after a while, but not at first. You heard him towards in the end of the season, or even his career, I should say.
Yeah.
But I can't put him above Ray Lewis. Top 15.
All right.
And he's there, and he definitely has a credit for it.
Ramon, would you put him in the top 10 or?
He's in my top 10.
Okay.
He is the epitome of what an NFL player should be on and off the field. Reggie White is that guy, and I believe he is above Ray Lewis. If not, I guarantee you ask Ray Lewis who one of his idols are, and I guaranteed Reggie White is on his list. I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, you never know. Here's a really good entry. I'm just going to throw it out there now that in the top 10, I don't care what anybody says. Giants linebacker, and yes, Dale, this is a little bit for you as well. Giants linebacker Lawrence Taylor led the Giants defense in 2 Super Bowl victories. He was named NFL Defensive Player of the Year a record 3 times. And in 1986, Taylor gained 20.5 sacks and was only the 3rd defensive player ever to be named MVP of the league. He was inducted in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1999. Clearly a dominant player, clearly a force, clearly a guy that made himself known through his brutality, through his skill, through his technique, and through instilling fear in so many that had to go up against him. Would you put him, Ramon, above, below, even with Ray Lewis?
I'm going with above. X-Ray, who his all-time favorite linebacker is, I guarantee is Lawrence Taylor.
It's probably true.
This guy wrote the book on how to be a linebacker.
How to be a tough linebacker.
Oh, yeah. And at that era who he played, with all the Pro Bowlers, with all the top guys, this guy was cut from a different cloth right here. You would never see a player like that ever again. That dominant in pro sports. As well as Ray. As we're coming along, we're talking about more of these players, and we're getting up. We're becoming to see like how much Ray Lewis is.
It's crazy, isn't it?
You know, this high.
Yeah.
But Lawrence Taylor, there's nobody above that guy, man. And on the field, off the field, the guy, just a tremendous person. And you can tell with those records and those numbers, nobody's going to see that guy.
So would you put Taylor then? Since you put him above Lewis, would you put him also above Singletary?
I'm putting him up above Singletary and
So
everything.
you put him as number 1.
That's my number 1 guy.